Hey everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Irish Wrestling Podcast with myself, Jerry, along with Colin Byrne. The rest of the team are, up the walls at the minute. Fox is preparing for this weekend, OTT's anniversary. Massive weekend for OTT. This is what we're going to focus on tonight. As we record, Liz is getting ready for Bake Off, so she won't be on. She's obsessed with Bake Off, and we will have to leave this podcast before Bake Off starts. So we have to run through a lot of matches before we get there. So we'll dive right into it. Wolverhampton this Friday, Colin. You are headed over.
I am, yeah.
What
Really
have we
looking
got in
forward to it.
store?
Yeah, so Wolves tended to look. I don't know. I've talked to a few people, and a lot of people are looking forward to the Wolves card more than the Dublin card, which is a
Yeah.
surprise because the Dublin card is usually the big one. But a couple of people have said that the Wolves card is a bit of a standout. I'll just run through the card quickly of what's announced so far, and then we can maybe touch on a couple of the matches. So announced Kenta against Luke Jacobs, Man Like the Reese and Amari against Grizzled Young Veterans, Session Moth Martina and Millie McKenzie against Emerson Jane and Kanji, Sunshine Machine against Lycos Jim, and then the big one and what I expect will be the main event, Trent Seven against Jon Moxley. Yeah, like it's a pretty stacked card.
Yeah.
I think so. There's a couple of returns there. So Kanji is returning to OTT. She's been featured a couple of times before. Emerson Jane as well. She was there recently in the new what was it called?
WrestleRama for
What was the venue called? The Warehouse.
the
Sorry, I
warehouse in
was
Redcar.
thinking the
Yeah,
hangar.
yeah.
Yeah, she made a return there, so it's good to see Emerson getting back maybe a bit more regularly as well. And
Yeah,
then
she's
obviously,
going to make an appearance for Impact this weekend as well. They're over in the
yeah,
UK, so massive for her, massive weekend for her.
yeah, like she was listed. Was she the second highest rated woman on the PWI 200 last year? I think Alex Windsor was the only one
Alex Windsor,
who
yeah,
topped her.
yeah.
So like it shows how well she's noticed as well. So they're taking on Session and Millie, of course, the mother-daughter team as they call themselves. But I think one of the big standouts, Kent against Luke Jacobs.
Yeah,
Just a bit of background on this.
unreal.
Luke Jacobs was actually set to wrestle for 1PW. And I just want to give Luke Jacobs a shout out here as well, because for people who don't know, Luke Jacobs, the shit that was going on behind the scenes at 1PW, obviously most people weren't privy to it. I only know little bits of what happened, but Luke Jacobs made a stand. Now, this is a young man. I don't know exactly what age he is, but he's only in his late teens, early 20s. This is a young man who made a stand because of what shit was going on with his fellow wrestlers and said, I'm refusing to work these shows because of what's going on around me and with other wrestlers. So I'm making a stand here, and fair play to Joe Cabray to reach out and get Luke Jacobs and bring him in for that we know of. He's going to be doing Wolverhampton and Dublin. Potentially he does Belfast. I don't know if he's booked on that yet, but yeah, just a shout out to Luke Jacobs. And because of that, like that's a young man. That takes a lot of balls to stand up and say, like, to make a
Yeah,
stand like that, and
yeah,
I think it probably a bit of just rewards as well to put him in the ring against Kenta.
yeah,
Like that's a
absolutely.
massive match
He's
from
he's actually he's 23 years old, and
23. Yeah.
already he's had some of the last year he's had massive matches against Big Damo for in progress. Like he had some, he's had a great year so far. So this
Mm-hmm.
is like topping off his year.
Tomohiro Ishii had a match
Hmm.
against that Rev Pro as well, which was a
Yeah,
banger. Highly lauded as probably one of the matches of All In weekend, and that's being rebooked again for a future Rev Pro show.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, that's going to be massive. I'm really looking forward to Kenta coming over as well. I got to see him in the Electric Ballroom All In weekend for the fight. But he will be wrestling the three venues as far as I know: Wolverhampton, Dublin, and Belfast.
Belfast. Yeah,
But yeah, this guy has taken what was a slight to him being let go from or leaving. Again, we don't know what exactly happened there, but leaving WWE. But he's after going out and making a massive, massive name for himself. Now he was already a bit of a
yeah,
name when he
yeah,
went to WWE, but if anything, he's after excelling more now, and he's becoming that worldwide name that
yeah.
people know. Where I think people may not have known him in WWE because he was
Well,
only in NXT and a
he
bit part on Raw.
he came in as a friend of uh, Finn Balor. Like they came in
Mm,
together. Like Kevin Owens. Like they all kind of seemed to join at around the same time. And he was like, they changed his name to Hideo Itami. Like, and
yeah.
he had that small short run. Like he won the tournament in NXT to get into the
Yeah.
Giant Battle Royal for WrestleMania 31, and he had sort of a small run in the main roster, but he didn't get anywhere. Like, they never booked him properly. They never booked him the way he can wrestle. Like, he was booked as another Japanese wrestler in WWE, which, you know, never get booked properly. Like,
I think we're seeing the best of him now. If anyone saw the match that he had with Haskins for the fight, I think it's free on YouTube as well. Go check it out.
Yeah, he had a great match at Impact as well at Bound for Glory this weekend. Just gone, like, it was.
Still haven't seen it. Saw results, but still haven't gotten around to watching.
Definitely. If we're going to watch any of the matches besides Ospreay and you know, who was Ospreay facing? Fucking sorry, Mike Bailey, which is match of the year contender. Like, the Kenta match was right up there. Him and not Alex Shelley, the other fucker, his other tag team partner. It's gone out of my head anyway. He had a great match at the weekend with Impact. But who else is he facing this weekend coming?
So in Dublin, then he has Danny Cross, which again is massive for someone like Danny Cross, someone who's set their name all over Ireland, and he's starting to branch out into the UK now with some smaller promotions, and he's been in Spain, he's been in I think he went over to Italy recently.
Belgium,
Belgium. He's actually the Flemish wrestling champion as far as I know.
think so.
You know, so like he's definitely spreading his wings and getting his name out there. And we always look at who in the Irish scene is prepared for these big imports. And I think look no further than Danny Cross, to be honest, on what he's done over the last couple of years. I think he deserves that match.
With the likes of LJ, like, who, you know, was getting all the imports. Everybody, nearly every import that came to OTT was facing LJ. Now, you know, Danny's got that position now in the company with LJ gone to Japan. You know, he has stepped up a lot since he joined the draw, but even now he can step up even further and take that, you know, spot that left by LJ, where these big names are going to come in, and he's the person they're going to want to work with. And, you know, he could be the next person to go to Japan or somewhere else. Like, he's got everything. He's got the full package.
It was always the kind of one or two. So like when I start getting into it, it was always kind of like Jordan and Scotty Davis were the two kind of names that were the go-tos. Then we started to see LJ getting those imports, and now I'm just seeing more and more coming through that, like, I think we're going to see a lot more competition for these big imports now as well, because like you have the likes of Sammy, Omari, Danny Cross, Renzo Rose making a name for himself. Even the Sam is so big now. There's so many wrestlers that are going to see him and see the gimmick and stuff, and they're going to want to come here and face him, you know. So there's just so many of those big names. Even like, you know, I know Trent. Would you call Trent one of our own? I don't know, but he's
been around.
He's an NLW champion. He's been around OTT a long time. He's a draw. Damo's been around now as well the last couple of years. Like, so there's so many of these names, so many of these people that these big imports are going to come in, and like there's going to be a scrap for who actually faces them. Where it used to just be those one or two go-tos. Now it's more diversified. But we do have the returning Grizzled Young Veterans, obviously released from WWE quite recently. We know that they asked for the release some stage last year. They eventually got it. Presumably, again, just my presumption, presumably they were waiting for the merger to go through before anything happened. Once that merger went through.
I think their contracts just ran out. They just didn't re-sign. That was it. Like.
Well, we have GYV coming back in. They do have a match in Wolves, which a couple of people have actually mentioned to me that they're actually a little bit disappointed in. There's a couple of things at play. So a lot of people were saying that they would have liked it to be a surprise return in the stadium. I think had they not been announced and just come out, I think would have been a bit of a massive pop. Obviously, for a promotional side of things, Joe and OTT need to sell tickets, so announcing them is the no-brainer to try sell those tickets. But then a couple have said to me that they would have liked to see the return be the Dublin show, not the Wolves show. especially considering the kind of storyline that they're after coming back into.
Yeah.
You know, they have that history with Charlie. Charlie is the number one contender, or well, he has the briefcase to challenge Sammy. He did say that he was going to be challenging Sammy at the anniversary. He didn't specify which of the anniversary shows. It turns out that's now going to be the Belfast show. But before that, they have to team up and take them on in Dublin, which is a bit of a strange dynamic. But before that, we see them taking on Man Like the Reese and Amari, which again is another. They do have the 0121 thing going, but I thought
boisterous
with
behavior,
Amari,
right? Is that what the boisterous behavior or something?
no, boisterous
Leon
behavior is
Slater.
Leon and
Yeah.
Man Like the Reese. The two lads are from Birmingham, so
Yeah.
They do go by that. I think they were called Team Wolves at the start of the year, like or the 0121. I know they're both from Birmingham, but I think with Amari shift and joining with J Money and Scotty Davis, it seems like a bit of a strange bedfellows type match now, because we definitely have a new.
I was surprised by that.
Amari.
I wasn't sure why Scotty. I know they wanted to get Darius on the card, like, but I thought Scotty and Omari would have been a great tag team to go up against JYV in the first place, because they are, they are a tag team at the moment. They are a legit tag team in OTT, so it would have been a good, it would have been a good style of matches.
It definitely adds in that other dynamic though, because now we have new attitude Amari with the Reese. Are they gonna gel the same way that they did previously? Are they gonna be on the same page? So there's always that at play. I know we kind of jumped on to Dublin there, but Trent Seven against Jon Moxley. If anyone hasn't seen it, Jerry, I'm not sure if you saw the promo that went out this afternoon, the interview with Trent.
I just caught it before we went on.
Yeah. So we're seeing a very serious Trent. For people who have been around and might know Trent. Trent is a bit of a joker. Always likes to have a laugh, play up to the crowd, have a bit of a back and forth with the audience. I think in the interview that he did with Ango, he comes across a bit more serious, and I think he knows the kind of the fight that he's in for. I think he said that there'll be no mustache twirling, there'll be no smiling. When you're in the ring, standing across from Jon Moxley, you know you're in for a fight, and that's what it's going to be. So, and he did say that. He said that coming out of being released or whatever, that NXT UK not existing anymore, that he promised to give us all for every match he's in and every promotion that he works for, and he will always give us all. So I think we've seen that with Trent recently. I think maybe when he came back initially, there was a few murmurings that maybe he wasn't putting everything into his matches, and that he was maybe phoning it in a little bit, because obviously he came in as a name. Everyone knows who Trent is and on this side of the pond. And anyway, but I think recently we've seen Trent kind of up his game a bit more. We saw the matches that he's had recently, and with LJ, with Sammy, with Damo, and even in other promotions, if like the likes of his match with Michael Oku, he had a match on Royal Quest recently as well. I can't remember who he was facing, to be honest. But he's definitely like putting a lot more into his matches, and I think we're gonna see a bit of a brawl. I think it's gonna be a very different style match in Wolverhampton, Trent and Moxley.
They've now, I know they may have. I'm not sure if they've ever shared a locker room together before in WWE. Maybe when NXT might have been.
They've both been on AEW as well, so Trent's had a couple of AEW appearances. Trent said in his interview that he's spoken to Jon. Like they obviously know each other. They obviously speak to each other, but like as competitors, once they step into the ring, like whether you know someone or you like someone, like that shit kind of goes out the window, And
is this match for the NLW title, or is it just a one?
It hasn't been announced that it's for the championship, so as of now, no. Will that change? I kind of doubt it, to be honest. I think it puts a lot of roadblocks in the way then potentially for future should things happen.
Trent has been advertised to defend the title in Dublin, right? Is that the triple threat? Is that for the title?
The triple threat match? Yeah, that is. It's Trent, Damo, and Corvin in Dublin. Yeah, and that is for the championship. So, I think, I don't know how it would work. Like you can't insert Moxley into that match because he has a match with Be Cool then, So, Speaking of, let's have a dive into that one. Like, so that's what was your reaction initially, Jerry, when you heard that it was Be Cool that was getting the Moxley match?
I was completely surprised. We were there whenever Be Cool beat Danny Cross in that match,
Yeah.
and everybody was I don't know that it wasn't announced beforehand that the winner was going to face
It was
Moxley.
announced that there would be a special,
special announcement or something,
a special award for
yeah,
winning
yeah,
the
yeah,
match. So I think it was fairly obvious what that
yeah.
reward was going to be, but yeah.
I don't think anybody saw this coming. Like, of all the people in OTT that you in your head, like who Jon Moxley would face, outside of maybe Sammy D or something, like, Be Cool. I think it's going to be fucking brilliant, though. I think it's going to be one of the best matches OTT has ever put on. If it's on,
It's definitely like it's going to be different to what we're going to
yeah,
get with
it's
Mox and Trent and anyway.
Yeah.
And then there's a few questions that are going to be thrown up as well. Are we going to see a different Be Cool in the ring? Because
what
he's gone like it's a fucking Jon Moxley that he's getting in the ring with. Like you're gonna have to step up your game here.
Well, like we know Be Cool. He's a great entertainer. He's brilliant. Like, he's a genius when it comes to the entertainment side of wrestling. Like, he knows the inside and out of the business. He's got that Orange Cassidy vibe about him, but in an Irish way. So Moxley and Orange Cassidy just had a fucking phenomenal match for that title. So there is that element where Moxley is able to work with someone who does comedy style matches, and this is exactly what could be a match, a fucking show stealing match. Like, it's going to be one of the matches that aren't just two meaty men slapping meat or two high flyers. It's two completely opposite styles that are going to work either amazingly or not at all. Like, and I think it's just going to be one of the matches of the whole weekend.
I'm glad you said that because, this is something that's been at me a little bit as well, is the amount of people, and Be Cool addressed it in his interview that was released with Ango as well. People have said that maybe he's not deserving of this match and that he was the last name that people would have thought of. Now, I get that he probably wasn't top of the list on what people were thinking would go up against Jon Moxley based on his style. But to say that the man is not deserving, I think, is fucking ridiculous. He is, if anything, he's probably the most deserving. He has served his time in OTT since day one. He's not just a blow in. I know that there's a lot of new fans that have come into this post-COVID, and then obviously with Barry getting retired and then coming back. Some relatively new fans might think that he is new or he's only coming back and why is he getting this match? He's put his time in for years and years,
time.
like 14, 15 years he's wrestling, and he's been there and he's done it all. He's done all the Tivoli shows. He's this person as well. We talk about people that create moments, and he is someone that creates moment after moment after moment. And it might just be something small, but he's always the person that's being talked about. His promos are always being talked about. His matches, his spots, his moments are always being talked about. And he is one of the names that is always on everybody's lips when they leave a show. And he's one of the people that bring people back.
Yeah.
We talk about that there's great wrestlers that bring people back. But these types of people, these characters, Be Cool, Session Moth Martina, Paddy Morrow, these people that create these moments and these talked about moments and spots, that is what brings people back. And he is definitely one of them. So for people, when I heard people say that he is not deserving of a spot, like, shut the fuck up, because he is anything but. Like,
I can understand where some people are coming from. Like, this is not, this is exact, I said it already. This is not the match you would expect when you book Jon Moxley.
Yeah.
Because he was booked against Damo the last time he was advertised. And obviously that didn't happen. And everybody's expecting, a match like Damo or somebody who's, worked in, a bigger promotion, or who's, another import maybe. But, wrestling is, 80% character driven, like, and 20% style. Like, you have to have a character in the ring. Like, you can have two big men slapping meat with no character, and people are just sitting there bored. Just a match they've seen 100 times before. Chop fest, spot fest, whatever you want to call it. This is going to be a match where everybody's going to talk about afterwards. the whole show, like of all the matches, people will be talking about this match for the whole weekend. I'm
Like people still
guaranteed.
talk about Be Cool and Orange Cassidy's match
Mm-hmm.
from the 5th anniversary.
Yeah.
You know, this is probably going to be the same. I think people are going to be talking about this match for a long time to come.
Yeah.
Anyway, we've hung on this match for a while. Just looking at the rest of the card here to see if there are any other standouts. We like Kenta, Danny Cross. We already touched on that. The draw, Grizzled Young Veterans. What's going on there? There's a 4-way match. Like these matches usually tend to be show stealers. Mark Haskins, Robbie X, Man Like the Reese, Luke Jacobs. That's going to be a fucking banger.
That'll kick off the show, I think. Would
I
it?
reckon so. Like
Yeah.
Joe has tended to start stadium shows with these hot multi-man matches, so I wouldn't be surprised if that was the opener just to get the crowd up. Because like that screams like fire. That screams
phenomenal,
quick, hard hitting. That's like, going to be all over the ring as well, and all outside the ring.
Sure,
so
it's like an X Division match. Like it's just going to like one of them matches that just everybody's going to be buzzing. Like, and that's the way you want to start a show.
Yeah. Nearly forgetting about the women's championship. Moth Martina against Debbie Keitel. This has been going on for Jesus. This is going on a while now, a year if I'm not mistaken.
Scrapper, didn't she beat her? Martina beat her at Scrapper.
Yeah,
and then
like
stole the title, and she hasn't given it back since.
Yeah, and even the run up to that as well, like it wasn't just Scrapper. Before that, I think it was just after the anniversary show was where we saw the first kind of button of heads with these two, or that the match was going to happen, or that it was being teased. I think it was around December, January. So like it's been nearly a year that these two have been going at it, and then obviously Martina gets that win. Debbie calling herself the real champion, keeping the championship that Martina won, and she still hasn't gotten. Brought back the old women's championship, but it's gonna be settled in the National Stadium with presumably the 2 championships hanging over the ring in a ladder match.
A ladder match.
I don't know if this is correct, but I think this is the first women's ladder match in OTT. I don't think there's been another one. I think there's only been a couple of ladder matches in OTT.
Yeah.
I think there's only been like 3 or 4 total, and I don't think there's ever been a women's ladder match. So this will be the first, and I think it's a first ladder match for the 2 women involved as well, if I'm not mistaken. So, this is this is a hard one to call, because like a ladder match is very different to just a normal match. Like who has the bottle to get up that ladder? And then you have to do the damage to your opponent to keep them down for long enough so that you can get up that ladder. But it's gonna be hard.
It's gonna be. I think it's gonna be brilliant. I can't wait for it. I hope they have more than one ladder. I hope there are gonna be a lot of spots in it, because Debbie's not scared. Debbie's not scared to take bumps. Like so.
Yeah. I think the last couple they only had the one ladder. But again, it's what you deal with it as well. Like if the one that I always go back to is LJ and Scotty. That for me is the pinnacle of ladder matches in this country, and I think it's I didn't know what to be expecting, to be honest. You watch these ladder matches all your life on TV. You're watching it on WWE, AEW, whatever it may be, and you're seeing these spots that are being done off ladders, and when you're watching it on TV, you're kind of like, oh yeah, that looked a bit rough. But like, I don't think it sinks in until you're actually there in person and you see someone come off the top of a ladder. Like, just going back to that Scotty LJ match, I was sitting ringside in the corner. So if you go back and watch that match, Scotty Davis gives LJ Cleary a gator roll off the top of the ladder. They came down literally right in front of me, and I thought LJ was dead. That's how impactful that. I literally thought he was dead. I was like, oh my God, is he okay? Like, and I was asking the lads at ringside even after the match, I'm like, is LJ okay? Like, that looked fucking rough. Like, so until you're actually there and you see a ladder match in person, I don't think it has that. The emphasis is there on how hard
the audio on TV does not reflect the audio in person.
No.
We were there at WrestleMania 31. The ladder match that opened up WrestleMania 31. Now we weren't that close to ringside, like we were sitting up in the hundreds just above the ground level. But the noise when somebody bounces off a ladder, when Luke Harper, God rest his soul, powerbomb fucking Moxley or Dean Ambrose over the top rope and landed on the ladder. That echoed in a open space, like there was no roof on the building. It still echoed around the place, and everybody was wincing. It just looked so horrible in person. So, you know, when you're in person and whether somebody goes through a ladder in this or just comes off the ladder and lands awkwardly, you're just going to be wincing. That's the thing about ladder matches. You just don't know what's going to happen, especially with, you know, Anita being around as well, like the gals, whatever they were calling.
But the one thing that we do know is that these two women are fucking fearless. Like, if you've seen either of them wrestle, if you've seen Debbie Coytel or Session Martina wrestle, they're fearless. You know, so I can
go back and watch
imagine
Scrappermania. The stuff that they did each other in Scrappermania was.
I can only imagine the shit that's gonna go on in this match.
Yeah.
So, I do. I'm gonna be a bit worried on the night. I'll probably be like, have me hand over my face for half that match. But yeah, really looking forward. Just the one other match that we didn't touch on from this card, is the tag team GN Championship match. A bit of a dynamic here with the GN Championship. So BDE versus Scotty and Amari versus Renzo Rose and Decem versus Los Mupadores. BDE obviously the GN champions. I think it's fair to say that, and like, if anyone has an issue with this, I don't really care, but Scotty and Amari are probably like favorites here. Like, I think it's hard to look past those two as the best two competitors in this match on paper. Whether they win now is a different story, but we have been guaranteed the best entrance ever.
Yes.
Renzo Rose and the Sem, or the Semzo as people are calling them.
Semzo.
So I'm really intrigued with what's going to happen with this entrance. I am really intrigued.
Well, it is
Renzo Rose in paint.
It's Halloween. It is Halloween season, so you know, you never know what Renzo's going to come up with. You know, nobody likes Renzo, but everybody loves the Sem, and it's a great dynamic. And one thing about, like, the GN Championship has always been a singles title, but now, you know, all the tag teams that aren't going for a tag team title match, you know, that's a good thing about the GN Championship, that they can share it. There's no, you can't, only one person can compete for it. So it's great that all these tag teams are able to go out there and just show off and, you know, potentially leave the stadium with the title.
It's definitely a strange dynamic. But again, the one thing that I would say is, like, where are the Kings? You know, where are the tag team champions?
I don't know.
I don't know. We don't know what's going on in life. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes. I haven't heard anything on why they're not there. I'm presuming there's something that's stopping them from being there. Maybe they will be there. We don't know yet. Like anything could happen on the night. But
definitely, I definitely think there's going to be a few surprises that people aren't expecting at all. Like, so it's a stadium show. Anything can happen.
I'm going to go back to when the show was announced, and we spoke about this before, so I'm not going to go over it again, but I have an idea of something that's going to happen on the night. I said it on a previous podcast. We talked about it. There was something in the advertisement for this show, and I'm still adamant that what was in that advertisement still hasn't been revealed. And I will just go out on a limb and I will say to people right now, if you are not fucking there on the night, you are going to regret it. You're going to regret it, because if what happens is what I believe is going to happen, you're going to fucking regret not being there. So I implore everybody to go and get your tickets. And if it doesn't happen, I don't care. It's still going to be a fucking great show and you're going to enjoy it. It's an early show as well. That's another thing that we need to mention.
Absolutely.
The show was moved because the World
rugby,
Cup, the Rugby World Cup. Potentially, when it was moved, Ireland had the potential to be there. They were the favourites for the tournament. So the show was moved because of the match to 4:00. Because of that, it's been made all ages as well. This is probably the first and only time this is going to be all ages. It's not going to be all ages again. So if you want to go, bring your kids to a show of this magnitude, because they probably won't get to go to a show of this magnitude again until they're 18 or 16 or whatever it is. So, like, get yourself to the show. There's still tickets available. There's no bad seat. Don't worry about the ringside front rows not being available. There's no bad seat in the stadium. You would be able to see from anywhere. It's 2,000, but it's a tight it's a Thai 2000.
Yeah.
Sorry, I know I'm going off on a tangent. My first stadium show, I sat right up the back on purpose. We came in with general admission, which means you can sit anywhere from there's a walkway around the middle of the stadium. You can sit anywhere behind that walkway. There were seats in that front section. We chose not to go there, and we went right back to the wall. It was probably the second best view I've had for a stadium, because apart from being ringside, I think I'd rather be up the back than in the middle somewhere.
Yeah.
I sat up there for Jordan Devlin beating Walter for the championship, and that pop that was in the stadium. And let's see, can I even get a video for you to throw up? If I can find it, I can't guarantee it. If I do, you can throw it up here. But you'll be able to see the view that I had, and like that's the view from right at the back. So like, there's no bad seat. So please go out and get your tickets for that.
Definitely get out there before it's over.
A couple of other things to go through, and we'll kind of like briefly go through this. So Belfast then on the Sunday, we already said Sammy D against Charlie is advertised for that. What dynamic that's going to be going into the match is going to be very interesting off the back of what happens on Friday and Saturday.
Yeah.
Will they be on the same page going into that match? Will they be going in as friends? We know that GYV have been on to Charlie and trying to get on to him, trying to get in contact with him. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what dynamic goes into that. We have Trent Seven teaming up with Kenta, which like, there's a fucking team.
That's the team.
You wouldn't want to be taking on that
no
team,
way.
would you? Like,
fuck me.
Trent Seven and Kenta against Scotty Davis and Amari. No, if that's a massive match.
That's crazy.
That's unreal. That Belfast crowd is so lucky getting a match like that. Like I'd love to see a match like that in the stadium.
Well, they're like, people say like, oh, you know, they're not bringing enough talent in from overseas or stuff like that. Like there's 4 people who all competed for WWE in NXT, and you know, there they are in a tag team match in Belfast on a Sunday in fucking end of October. Like, you know, where else are you going to see that?
Yeah. Moving on, we have Big Damo against Corvin. Potentially, I'm just throwing this out there. Potentially, should Damo or Corvin win the triple threat in the stadium, could we see this being an NLW championship match if one of them are the holder going in?
Possible.
Quite possible. This one brings me so much joy. Robbie X against Kane Noonan.
Yes. Come on, Kane Noonan.
Kane Noonan, one of the trainees from the class of 2001. We know him from Hard Knocks. We know him from some of the Contenders skill shows. But Kane, what I think I've said before, he is one of the most naturally gifted wrestlers I've seen. Probably since Scotty Davis. And I hope I'm not putting too much pressure on Keane by saying that. But to see Keane getting his main OTT show debut against someone like Robbie X says so much for the work that he's put in. Like this guy is just passionate about wrestling. Yeah. We've spoken to him, Jerry. I'm not sure if you even do you remember when
we were sitting
before Hard Knocks we went and we had a bite to eat in the pub. Myself, yourself, Liz, Keane, a couple of the lads. And Keane, he was just talking to us about wrestling.
Yeah, he was
talking
about
watching wrestling, watch your favorite match. Keane just lives and breathes it, and I love his passion.
And he was talking about matches that, you know, someone his age, you think, they've never seen these kind of stuff, and he's seen everything we talked about. It was just like
he's a student of the game, but
he watches everything, and his moveset, like stuff that he can do. Who's he's only been wrestling a couple of years, he's only been training a couple of years, like stuff that he can already do.
He's so gifted.
Yeah,
he's so gifted, and like that, he's not afraid to push himself as well. Like you're saying that those moves that like he does, because he's not afraid to push himself and try those moves in a safe environment, like the school, and try them out on the crash mats before like getting into the ring and doing them, you know.
Yeah,
and that's what it's about. Like he's just Keane is one to watch. He's my earmark for the future. He's my earmark, future OTT Championship, future Hard Knocks champion. Everything. Keane is destined for great things. So I'm so happy when that match was announced. I'm so happy for Keane. He has a big challenge in front of him and Robbie, but with Kane's natural ability and Robbie's ability, that screams a banger to me.
Yeah, can't wait to see it.
Looking forward to it. We have the Saviors of Destiny against Los Mopadores. That is a hair versus mask match. So, yeah, the Sabres of Destiny are putting their hair on the line, which I don't think they were aware of. Which I think they're after getting a job out there. But I was tweeting that little shitbag rat who does be with them. Toy Claude, I found out his name was. In that video, go back and watch that video of that announcement. Toy Claude said, Los Mupadores against me and the Saviors. Yeah. So he definitely says it because I went back and I watched it.
He's not in the Saviors of Destiny.
He says he's not in the match, but he specifically said, Joe Cabray was there. He said, Toy, are you sure? And he says, yeah, me and the Saviors against Los Mupadores. So my question is, if the Saviors lose, does he have to shave his head as well? And if he fucking doesn't, I'm going to start a petition to get it done. I really am.
The Saviors of Destiny.
Los Mupadores, of course, putting their mask on the line. As we know, for a luchador, taking your mask off is a very serious thing. Yeah, like these guys are after coming in from Mexico back in June. They're working hard. They've been in a few matches. They're very entertaining people. People might think that their style is very reminiscent of other teams as well that we've seen in the past. But yeah, these guys are just fun. So yeah, Los Mupadores all the way. I just want to see the Sabres get their head shaved as well. So last match on this one that's announced, Man Like the Reese against Renzo Rose, two of the hottest talents that have been around OTT in the last year or two.
In Europe,
two of the hardest working talent as well. Like Renzo Rose, I think was the hardest working wrestler in OTT last year, as I think he said he has been in more matches than anybody else.
Yeah.
And Man Like the Reese, we know what that Lyrical Dragon tour was like. He was everywhere. So this is two absolute workhorses in this match.
But this is a chance. Like if you haven't seen Man Like the Reese perform, this is like he's similar to LJ. I just feel he's not going to be around much longer. He's been, people are watching him. People are scouting him from all over the world. Like he's one
of them as well, Jerry, isn't he? That, like, for me and anyway, I don't think he has a particular, when you look at some people and you're like, oh, they'd be great in AEW or they'd be great in WWE. I think with someone like the Reese, I can see him fitting into anywhere.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. He's so diverse that. I can see him in AEW and WWE and New Japan. I can see him in any promotion where some people you might say, oh, well, I think he'd work in AEW, but I don't think he'd work in WWE or vice versa. With the Reese, it's completely different.
Yeah, because he's got that two or three different styles where, he's got the technical ability to, perform in Japan. He's got, again, the technical ability with kind of the character in AEW, which would work. But he's so comfortable on the mic, a bit of tweaking by WWE, and he could be, phenomenal. Like, I'm not saying the AG style, but he's going to, he's just so comfortable that that's exactly what they want. They want someone who can just, build on and just make them, 100 times better than the person that they are at the minute. So, like, he can go anywhere, and I hope he does go somewhere because he is too good not to be in a big company in the next year or two.
I think he will be. I think it's a given. And we've seen him on a couple of big shows that have come over to Europe in the form of WWE and AEW. And that says more than anything because they are seeing this person and a couple of others who are on those shows as well, and they're the ones that are like they're not putting them into those spots. They're not giving them those opportunities to be on those shows, in those spots for nothing, So it's because they're earmarked. It's because that their name is out there, because they know who they are, and these are the ones that they're watching, So it appears that both companies, AEW and WWE, have their eyes firmly on him. And I think this is only a matter of time.
Well, this is the weekend to show off. You have Moxley coming in from AEW. You have Kenta there from wherever he wants to be from. Like, I know he's still New Japan or is he free agent or Noah. So there's there's going to be eyes on. Yeah, there's going to be eyes. Like, people are going to be in their ears. What did you see? Who bringing over with you, or who's this is the week. This is the weekend all over.
We've
even
seen that,
UK.
haven't we, with people that like they tend to go back and talk about
Oh yeah,
these people that they've worked with
yeah,
in these promotions, So
absolutely.
I think Barry said that like Jon Moxley doesn't know who I am. And he probably won't know who I am, but he's gonna know that he won't be able to keep me down, and he's gonna
Hmm.
remember me for not being able to keep me
Yeah,
down. So again, like you can guarantee like that Moxley will always remember Be Cool in the National
yeah.
Stadium,
He'll
So
remember this weekend. He'll definitely
yeah.
remember this weekend. I'm
Um
buzzing. I can't wait.
yeah.
No, that's the three parts of the anniversary weekend. Sometimes the Spiegel, the Wexford doesn't officially get a part of it because it's not really on demand. It doesn't never be on
Yeah,
demand,
it's
does
it's
it?
it's very much a non-canon standalone
Mm,
type show. Um, although usually a very fun show. It's an all ages show on the Spiegletent in
yeah,
Wexford. On the Monday, it's on at 2 o'clock. Tickets are 15 quid. It usually sells out.
yeah,
I think it sold out the last couple of years. So if there are tickets still available and you're in the area, check it out. There
yeah,
has been some matches announced for it. Session Mott against Anita Vaughan, Big Damo against Boots, massive for Boots that match.
yeah.
Again, I think he put it on
Boots.
his dream list as well.
Yeah,
Renzo Rose against Kane, again, Kane's name popping up there again. Man like the Reese against Noah Walker. First time Noah's going to be featured on that weekend that we know of.
hmm,
But again, massive opportunity for Noah to step in there with
yeah,
man like the Reese.
100%.
Sammy D and Danny Cross against the Social Elite. Again, the first time that we know of that the Social Elite are going to be around. They could be in other places, but they haven't been
Yeah,
announced
yeah,
yet. And then Amari against Robbie X. If that's not a show stealer, I don't know
yeah.
what is. But yeah, that's a massive card for what is a non-canon all ages
Hmm.
show in Wexford. So if you're in the area or if you fancy taking the trip, it's
Yeah,
worth it. It's a lovely venue. It's a pop-up tent. Now, when I say tent, it's not in the field. There is hard flooring. They go to town on it. I'm actually going to a couple of shows in it. I'm actually going to see John Bishop tomorrow night. And I'm going to
nice.
see Neil Delamere next week in
Right.
it as well. So we tend to go every year. I'm actually in Wexford at the moment. I never said that.
Yeah,
In my holiday home in Wexford. So we're going to a couple of shows. We always go to a few shows in the Spiegel tent. It's a great venue. The shows that they put on, because I think it's because it's not recorded, because they know it's not recorded, they can kind of have a bit more fun with
yeah,
it.
yeah.
They're not as stringent to kind of getting certain things in or what they
It's
need
not
to get.
story
And
driven. It's more like just
yeah,
this
they're
is
just
what we
out
can
there
do.
having a
Yeah,
laugh,
because
it's
I'm sure there's people that go to that festival in Wexford that aren't wrestling fans who wouldn't go
oh
to an
yeah,
OTT
yeah,
show.
100%. There'd
Yeah,
be there'd be a lot of fans there that would be like generic WWE wrestling fans.
yeah,
There'd
yeah.
be a lot of kids that would maybe like the Rey Mysterios, the John Cena's and stuff like that. And the lads can kind of play into that. I think last year, I think it was last year, they started a 619 chant, and one of the lads hit a 619, and then
Brilliant.
someone was they were asking for a stunner, and then someone hit a stunner and an FU or an attitude adjustment. So that was little things. That was little.
Yeah,
We talk about these moments that
yeah,
send people home happy. Those kids are going to be going home happy saying, "Oh, we hit John Cena's move, or he hit Rey Mysterio's move," and like that, the lads are like the we went through the card. The people that are on that show are high caliber performers as well. So
yeah,
you're not going to be disappointed in what you get there. And like
yeah.
again, for 15 quid, that's an absolute steal in my
Definitely,
opinion. So
100%.
if you
What a
can get
weekend!
there, oh,
What a weekend it's going to be.
I'm gonna be fucked on Tuesday.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be fucked. I have a lot of traveling ahead of me.
yeah.
A lot of traveling. Yeah, we're going to see that John Bishop show tomorrow. That's at 9 p.m. finishing at 11. We then have to drive back to Dublin
Oh,
straight after that to fly to
fly to
Wolves on
Wolves.
on Thursday morning, flying back in on Saturday straight to the stadium. We're not even going home. Then up on Sunday to drive to Belfast, and then driving back down to Wexford Sunday night after Belfast. So A lot of traveling. I'm not looking forward to the traveling so much, but I
At
am
least,
really looking forward to the shows and these weekends. Kind of
yeah.
when the shows deliver and you have those memories, the traveling becomes so much easier because you're leaving these shows and you're on the road, and you're on the road with friends like myself,
Yeah.
Kelly, a couple of the lads that I'll be going to Belfast with, and you're reminiscing about the show from the night before. You're reminiscing about those magic moments that are going to stick with you, and that like you're going, oh, I can't believe such and such happened, or I can't believe this person was there, I can't believe this person showed up, hint hint, wink wink, Dublin show,
Mm-hmm.
get your tickets.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm buzzing for it. Jerry, you're up for Dublin.
Oh, Dublin. I wish we could go to all the shows, but
Yeah.
Dublin is like we're always buzzing for stadium shows, and
Yeah,
it's just
listen,
cannot
life
wait.
happens.
Yeah.
I do feel very privileged that I am able to go
Yeah.
to more shows, and it is one of those things that I know that eventually I'm gonna have to put a lid on it maybe, and not attend as many shows because the bank balance definitely gets hit on weekends like this. But
I can
yeah,
imagine.
enjoying it while I can. But yeah,
Yeah.
really looking
So,
forward to it.
right, folks. If you are going to any of these shows of the weekend, if you have favorite matches or anything you're looking forward to, leave it in the comments. Let us know what you're looking forward to. If you're going to all the shows or just to Dublin or Wexford or wherever it is you're going to, let us know. I will be back after the weekend. Maybe not straight away, but maybe let Colin settle down and get his energy back before we record. We'll be
If you
reviewing
ask me
the
to
whole
record
weekend.
on Tuesday, I'm gonna just tell you to go get
No,
fucked.
we won't be recording on Tuesday. You're okay. We'll give you a week to recover properly from that traveling.
Cheers, pal.
I'm sure Joe and the rest of the OTT lads will need a week to recover after this weekend as well. Best of wishes to everybody performing this weekend in OTT, and anybody from Ireland who may be traveling over for the Impact trials or whatever they're calling them. They will get a chance to win a contract with, if you are going over there and coming back to Ireland. Best of luck with that as well. So it's a big weekend in this side of the pond for wrestlers who are from this side of the pond. So best of luck to everybody performing this weekend. As always, lads, like, comment, subscribe. We'll be back, like I said, in a week or two with a review of the whole weekend, and we can't wait. We'll see you in Dublin, and Colin, we'll see you everywhere else.
Wasn't.
Thanks,
If you
guys.
see me, say hello. Appreciate it.
See you later. Have a good one.